Hey there, it's great to have you back in my workshop. Today, I've got something a bit different, and it's quite challenging for us to tackle together. It's just you and me, and a bit of a 3D printing pickle. So here's what happened. I left my Ender 3 Pro unattended for the last print of the day, feeling confident after a series of successful runs, and well, it turned out to be a classic case of too soon to celebrate. My final print broke free, resulting in this massive blob of PLA around the extruder. Look at this mess. Our job today isn't just a simple PLA removal. We've got wires trapped inside this blob. It's a delicate task. It's almost like defusing a bomb, but in the world of 3D printing. I need to carefully remove this without damaging anything. It's going to be quite the adventure, and I'm glad you're here with me. This could go really smoothly, or we might end up needing some new parts. That's the thrill of DIY repairs, isn't it? It's all unscripted, real, and happening right now. So let's dive in and see how we can rescue our printer from this tricky situation. Okay, first things first, we have to get this off the carriage, okay? So I'm going to move this over to the other side of the table, just so that we both can see what we're doing. If I remember correctly, we only have these four to remove to be able to get this off the carriage. So that's what I'm going to start off with. First things first, we don't want to damage any more wires than we might in the future. So let's get this ribbon out of here. The ribbon's out. Of course, the power has been long disconnected. And now let's get this carriage off. It should come free if I remember correctly. And I dropped it. Excellent. So taking a look at this here, you can see the sock is completely covered or filled really with the PLA that's in there. And now you can see the connections for our wires that we have to get free as they disappear into the blob going into the hot end. So the best way to work on this is going to be adding some heat into it, which is why I've got a couple different pliers down here. And then I'll actually just move these off to the side so that I don't lose my screws when I'm connecting this up. So one of the things I actually just noticed here, I'm actually missing my screw that supports the BL Touch on this end here. So that might actually be one of the reasons why that last print had failed. Because I would assume, yeah, as you see that, as the pressure gets put down, as the BL Touch goes down, that could be flexing, which could actually be causing issues with my leveling of my bed. So I'm going to have to find another one of these. I'm sure I've got extras and get that replaced in this repair as well, too. It's actually interesting that could be an issue. Just about got our first success here, getting the first big chunk of blob. Wow, the first blob chunk off of this here. Gonna need a little bit more heat here, but I don't know how well you can see that right in here, but it's barely holding on. So we'll get some heat right in that spot. There we go. It's falling right off. Perfect. Well, it's still warm. I'm going to start trying to dig in here. Let's just see if I can slowly dig out around these wires. Trying not to put any pressure on the wire itself. I don't expect this to be a quick process, but if we keep going at it, just like the motto, don't quit, do it, we'll get through this. It's kind of amazing working with this PLA in its flexible state like this. It almost feels like TPU with how warm this is. I'm used to PLA being super rigid and very strong, not breaking very much. And having it flex like this is kind of weird. Okay, good. I got the silicone sock dug out there now. So now we can actually see the heat block here. Time to add a little bit more heat. Now, typically speaking, when this happens, it doesn't encase the wires. And when it doesn't encase the wires, this is a lot easier to fix because all you've got to do is heat up your block again, which melts the plastic just up against the block. And usually the blobs slide right off. But this time here, the big challenge is these wires. If these wires weren't actually encased, this would be a much, much easier process. So I just noticed here, I don't know if you can see that right here. I'm actually starting to melt the fan nozzle a little bit here as well. So I'm actually going to pull this off. I'll probably pull off the BL Touch as well too, just to make sure that we don't cause any more issues on those fronts there. BL Touch actually looks like it's okay. Doesn't look like there's any issues there, but I'm going to pull this fan off. It might actually help me get in there a little bit better as well too. It's always fun to watch this stuff shrivel right here. You can see here, both the wires are now exposed all the way back down to the bottom here now. So what I can probably do, just double checking, none of the wires seem like they were damaged in my process of removing the plastic. So I can hook this back up to the ender, heat the block back up again. And once it's heated up, you can actually just start slowly pulling off those pieces. So I think that's what I'm going to do to finish this process off. And we'll go from there. So I'm going to set that back up and yeah, we'll be good to go. So we got to put the shroud back on again. Ow, don't grab that yet. That's still very hot. I'm going to let it cool down. I'm going to put this back together again, and then we'll melt it off the ender. The extruder is back together again. We've even got our missing screw back in, so that shouldn't move while we're doing our leveling. And we'll get it back on the printer and heat it up and pull the last little bit of this off. All right, so we'll get this clip back on the carriage here. Get our last few screws off. The ribbon cable plugged back in again. Once that finishes getting up to temperature, we're going to finish the removal. It's at temperature here now, so might have to give it a few more moments here, but I'm going to try to see if I can just wiggle this off. It should come off nice and easy. Just like that. All right, there's the last big chunk freed. See if we can get some more of this cleaned off. We'll do a quick level. And then we'll get to a print. That's still molten. That's hot. Just by the way, don't pick this up. It's hot. Molten plastic. It's in the name, molten. Molten means so hot. Don't touch the fingers. Get a purge going here. So let's get a leveling going. Take it off the plate and see how it did. It actually looks pretty good. There is actually a few faults on the corners up at the top here, but this is actually really good looking benchy. Well, we've reached the end of our PLA Blob removal saga, and what a journey it's been. Despite the ups and downs, we've managed to get our printer back in action. Look at this test print. It's not perfect, but it's a symbol of persistence and the willingness to tackle head-on challenges. This little benchy is a reminder that the path to success isn't always smooth, but it's always worth traveling. Today's experiences reinforces an important lesson. When faced with unexpected challenges, it's our determination and creativity that sees us through. We delved into the problem, got our hands dirty, and most importantly, we kept pushing forward. I want to thank you for joining me on this adventure. Your support and enthusiasm make these experiences all the more rewarding. If you've got any stories of your own or tips, tricks that you'd like to share, I'd love to hear them. Leave them in the comments below. And please remember to like, share, subscribe for more 3D printing adventures. Let's just say adventures. No escapades. Just adventures. And after that bout of insanity, let's take a look at the thought that kept us going today. Don't quit. Do it.